What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So do the Democrats have a chance of taking back the Senate in 2026? And my answer is always, there's always a chance. But I asked AI, and I'm going to show you the formula that AI put together. And in this video, I'll talk about the chances of Democrats taking back the Senate. What percentage chance do they have of taking back the Senate? And this is according to AI. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you watch this video and you find this information helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with your family and friends, and subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to take a look at the chart, and then we're going to go to the map. So we're going to go to the Senate map. I'll go over all the different possibilities when it comes to Democrats being able to take back the Senate. This is going to be a hard task for Democrats, but after this recent election, there have been some changes, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, and we could maybe potentially see Democrats have a better chance of taking back the Senate. Okay, so let me show you first. And I'm going to try to go through this fast. I know I have people that are saying, in the comments, hey, can you go a little bit faster? So I will try to go a little bit faster. If you guys want all of this information, I think in the future, let me know in the comments below if you guys are even interested. But in the future, I can have this whole PDF so you can go over it and look at it for yourself. So if I go through too fast and you don't have enough time, then you can go over it. So in the comments, let me know. Do you want to see the PDF? Say yes to the PDF, no to the PDF. And then I'll go from there. Okay, so let me just show you real quick. These are the categories that we're looking at when it comes to the Senate. Okay, we're looking at the generic ballot. We're looking at CPI, so inflation. We're looking at the unemployment rate. We're looking at the macro factors. So basically, how do the people feel about, basically voter sentiment? How do people feel about the economy right now? How do people feel about the direction of the country? And then we just have it just says a template here. So that's what we're looking at here. Okay. And then at the very end, I'll tell you what the summary is, what the forecast is. And so basically, how many seats can Democrats win in the Senate, and what's the probability? What percentage are we looking at possibility of Democrats taking back control of the Senate? Okay. Remember, Democrats need 51. Okay. They need 51 seats. Republicans only need 50 because you have the vice president who's a Republican. The vice president comes in and breaks the tie. So if it's a 50-50, the vice president breaks the tie. However, Democrats need 51. So already the Democrats are at a disadvantage. And the Democrats, when we're looking at the current map, Democrats have 47 seats. Democrats and independents have 47 seats. And Republicans currently hold 53 seats. So Republicans already have the advantage going into the 2026 midterm. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the information. So this is a little bit zoomed in. So let me come out just a little bit there. Okay. Hopefully that's a little bit better so you can all see it. Now, what I want to show you here is we're talking about the generic ballot. Generic ballot right now, Real Clear Politics, that's what we're using. It's showing plus 4.1 for Democrats. Now that's increased. Okay. It's increased a lot in the last couple of weeks. We're talking about CPI. So inflation right now, inflation's at around 3%. Now, I'm saying at around 3% because we're going to be waiting to see when they start releasing more information. So November, because we're in a government shutdown, usually I think it's the second week of November. That's when we find out what CPI is for October. Will we get that information? If we're in a government shutdown, we're not going to get that information. So we'll have to see. If a government shutdown's over, then maybe we'll receive that information, but we're going to have to just kind of hold tight and see what happens there. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about unemployment. Unemployment right now is at 4.3%. We should get more information, but because we're in a government shutdown, will we get more information? It's up in the air. And remember, the White House has already indicated that they don't think we should be getting unemployment information every month. They want to do it every quarter. So if that's the case, then we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Now, let me be clear. We don't know if they're going to do that, but that is what they've been talking about. So unemployment, 4.3%. And then the macro factor here, they've already computed it. This is the calculation here. Now, I do want to show you just so you guys understand what this is. So they're gathering all the information. They're taking inflation, unemployment rate. They're taking a lot of different factors. And then they are creating this number. And this number corresponds, if we go down here, we can see the macro factors. And so it's minus 0.023. Okay, that is the number. And so if we move down to this category here, it says macro factors. and then it gives us the guide so we can see that minus 0.01 to minus 0.04. This is where we are. It's saying that this is a mild drag. So the economy is in a mild drag, basically. And then it says hurts incumbents modestly. Okay, so it's not, it could be worse, recessionary, and that's a major impact on incumbents. And the reason why the model focuses on incumbents is because incumbents have an advantage just by being incumbents. But if the economy is not good, if we're seeing, like we're seeing here, this mild drag, that is going to hurt incumbents because people are going to look to the incumbents and say, look, you're in office right now and the economy is bad, so I'm going to vote for the other person because you're not doing your job. And even right now, when we're looking at this current situation with this government shutdown, that's even worse because people are seeing these politicians not doing anything. And the House, they're not even at work. They've been off work since the government shutdown, but guess what? They're getting paid. And some of the politicians are out. Some of these House members are saying, well, you know what? I'm donating my money. I'm donating my money to charity or whatever. Well, you should be donating because you're not working. You're not doing anything. At the very least, they should be in Washington, D.C. trying to work out some type of an agreement to open up the government. But that's not what's happening. So that's really going to hurt them. This is going to come back and bite them. And so these incumbents, when they're running in 2026, they're going to have to answer that question. Why were you sitting at home during the government shutdown? Why didn't you tell the speaker that he needs to call people back so you can work? And even if he doesn't call people back, they could still go back to DC and say, look, I'm trying to work. I want to do this. I want to compromise. I want to get this government shutdown, get past the government shutdown so people can start working again and start earning a paycheck. Okay, so it's showing mild drag there. All right, so, and that was it. I think that was it. Okay, and then we'll go over quickly. I just want to go over the key races, and then we're going to take a look at the forecast, and then we'll take a look at the map. So right now, I just want to briefly go over this. So you have in Georgia, Ossoff, he's at 60%. So this 0.60, that means 60%. So he's at 60% right now, and there's a slight increase there. When it comes to Michigan, it's an open seat, but Democrats favor to win 60%, and there's a slight little uptick there. When it comes to Maine, this is a toss-up. So this is Susan Collins' seat. However, Democrats are favored to win right now, 60%. Slight uptick there. When it comes to North Carolina, this tilts to Democrats. So they're at 60%, and there's a slight uptick there. Now, Republicans, this leans Republican, Ohio, and it's a 50-50 right now. Okay, remember, Sherrod Brown is running in this race in Ohio. So if Sherrod Brown can keep it close, there's a possibility that you can see Sherrod Brown win over the Republican in Ohio. Okay, Iowa, this says leans Republican, and it's at 49%, so Republicans have an advantage there, as well as Texas leans Republican, or it's actually likely Republican, and that is 29%. Now, this 29%, this is Democrats, 29% chance of winning, and this 49%, that's Democrats, 49% chance of winning. All of this is based on Democrats to win. Okay, so it's kind of, if you're looking at this and you're saying, well, how is that possible? 29% for Cornyn in Texas. Well, what this is saying is Cornyn has the advantage and Democrats have a chance of 29% chance of winning. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at the forecast here. This is what's important. And just taking a look at week 2. So week 2, this is, we're in week 3, but we'll take a look at week 2 really quickly. We had 48.6, and this is the seats that Democrats could potentially gain. Okay, so 48.6. Week 3, we're now at 48.8. So there's a slight increase, and you see that increase there, 0.2. And looking at expected seats for Republicans, week 2, we were at 51.4 seats, and now we are at 51.2 seats. And so Republicans have lost a little bit. Okay, now here's the probability. We saw the probability in week 2. It was 6.2%. That's the probability of Democrats taking back control of the Senate. So it's a very, very low number, but it's this is a steep hill to climb, a very, very steep hill to climb. And I'll show you the map and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, week 3, they've increased a little bit. So Democrats have increased, so it's 7.4%. And so there's the increase there, plus 1.2%. Okay, now we're going to talk about the probability of Republicans maintaining the Senate. Looking at week 2, it was 93.8%. Week 3, 92.6%. And so there's slight erosion there, so minus 1.2 percentage points. Okay, so that is what we're looking at. Now you're saying, and let me just show you, let's go down. I want to show you we'll show you all the weeks here. So week 1, 2, and 3. So this is what we were looking at in week 1. So it's 5.6% for Democrats, and then 94.4% for Republicans. And then week 2, 6.2% for Democrats, and then 93.8% for Republicans. And then now we're into week 3, 7.4% for Democrats, and 92.6% for Republicans. And so you see Republicans still have a major advantage when it comes to the Senate. Now, let me just show you the map so you guys, hopefully you get a better understanding of what I'm talking about here when it comes to the Senate. It's going to be hard for Democrats to win in the Senate. And that's just a reality. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen or it couldn't happen. It just means that Democrats are going to have to pretty much run the table. They're going to have to win in a lot of state or a few states that they didn't expect to win in. And so if that happens, then we could potentially see this, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be definitely hard. Okay, let me show you here what I'm talking about. So we're looking at the current Senate map. Okay, these are the states that will be up for grabs in 2026. Okay, so I've already filled in a lot of these because we have a pretty good idea of where they're going. Okay, and so right now, if you're looking at the numbers, and let's just assume these toss-ups, they're not in there. So we have 4 toss-up seats. So Democrats would have 45 seats. Republicans would have 51 seats. And then we have to fill in the toss-ups. Now, when we were looking at the AI model, it was basically saying that Georgia is going to go to a Democrat. North Carolina will go to a Democrat. Michigan will go to a Democrat. And then when it came to Maine, it showed that it was leaning for a Democrat, but it was pretty much a toss-up is what they were saying. So let's just say Democrats win in Maine as well. So now we're looking at Democrats at 49, Republicans at 51. And now this is why this is going to be really hard for Democrats, because they just won 4 toss-ups. They won 4 toss-ups, and now they still need to win 2 more seats in order to take back the majority. And so that's why it's going to be hard, because look what's left. I mean, you have a possibility in Ohio, you have a possibility in Iowa, you have a potential possibility, let's just say you have a chance to win in Texas, and we'll have to see how that Texas plays out, who's running against who, because we don't know for a fact. We know Paxton's running right now against Cornyn in the primary, the Republican primary. Paxton can win. And if he wins that primary, now that changes a lot. We don't know who the Democrat's going to select. We don't know if it's going to be Tallarico. We don't know if it's going to be Allred. We don't know. And so once we get that information, then we'll have a better idea of what's going on in Texas. But right now, the AI model is showing Cornyn has a huge advantage. But Cornyn also is an incumbent. And so Cornyn can run on, he has that slight advantage for being an incumbent, which right now it might be hurting him a little bit, but he still has that advantage. He has the name recognition. He's an incumbent, so people know he's been there already. He's been in office, so it's a little easier for them to vote for him. So we'll have to see what happens. But if Cornyn loses in the primary, then guess what? That incumbent advantage goes away. Okay, so getting back to this map, Democrats need to win 2 more seats. And so I don't even know where to start, but let's just say Ohio, Sherrod Brown wins in Ohio. So now we have Democrats at 50, Republicans at 50. It's a 50-50 tie. But as I stated earlier, the vice president comes in and breaks a tie. So the Republicans would still have the majority. And so that is why this is going to be very, very hard for Democrats. Now, do they have a possibility of winning in Iowa? They could potentially win in Iowa. We don't know how farmers are going to react to the soybean issue and all of that. And there was a promise made by China that they will start buying soybean from the U.S. again. How much are they really going to buy? We don't know. Okay, all of this stuff was just talk. I don't think anything was put on paper yet. So this was just a verbal agreement. So they could back out on this verbal agreement, or something else can happen, and it doesn't go the way that they want it to. And so I just wanted to show you that in a nutshell. It's going to be very, very hard for Democrats. We're going to have to see a blue tsunami in the Senate for them to take back the Senate. It's possible, but it's going to be very, very hard. Some of these other states, could we see some shifts in the future? We could. We don't know, because remember, when we're doing these models, they're basing this on if people were going out and voting today. Okay, what's the climate today? That is what we're looking at. That will change next week. That will change next month. That will change next year. And so right now, what we're just looking at, we're gathering the information, pulling it in. I think it's interesting to pull in the information now. That way we can see a pattern and see if that pattern continues to rise for Democrats, or if it goes back down for Democrats, or rises for Republicans. So I just want to see that pattern, and that's why we're doing this early. But Democrats are looking really good when it comes to the House. Now, they should be able to take back the House based on the information that we have today if the election were today. As we stated, things can change. We don't know yet. But if we're looking at the situation right now, Democrats have a huge advantage in the House. And when it comes to the Senate, so let's say they can net 2 seats, that's good for them, because in 2028, now they have an opportunity to take back the Senate. So you don't have to do it all in 2026. You don't have to win back the House and the Senate, but it's imperative that Democrats win at least the House. If they can't win the Senate, they have to win the House. If they don't win the House, then I don't know what to say. I mean, Democrats are going to be in a real tough situation if they can't win the House. But right now they have the advantage. I just put that video out just a few days ago, so you can check that out. I did the AI model, and it's showing that Democrats they're set up right now to take back the House. So I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about the Senate? Do you think Democrats have a chance to win in the Senate? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.